Hi everyone, this is Jessica of the Mommy Bunch and welcome to my kitchen. Today we are going to be making butter and turning that butter into some honey cinnamon butter. Before we do that, please be sure to like the page and give us a share if you love the video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, and you can also find me on Facebook at either the Mommy Bunch or a page called Recipe and Crafts Galore, where we do lots of different recipes and we have a weekly live show every Friday night. So hop on over and join us. So let's get started. We are going to go ahead and make butter from scratch today. There's a very easy way we can do that with just a few simple ingredients. So the first thing you're going to need is some heavy whipping cream. And that's all you need to make butter, unless you want to have your butter salted. I'm not going to make salted butter today. The amount you use will depend on how much butter you want. Usually you can do about a cup. I do about a cup at a time. You can do more or less. Just make sure whatever container you use that you do not fill it more than halfway full, because you need room for the air to get in and you don't want it flying out of your container. So I'm just going to pour in maybe about a cup, and we'll go ahead and get started. So I have a cup of heavy whipping cream in my container. And today we're going to use an immersion blender to whip up our butter. Now I have a Mealthy immersion blender that I just got, and I absolutely love it. If you don't have an immersion blender, you can do this same thing by just using a mason jar with a lid and shaking until you get to the right consistency. But I do recommend an immersion blender to make things quicker. And if you're in the market for one, this Mealthy blender is fantastic. It comes with lots of different attachments. It's super heavyweight, and I don't feel like it's going to fall apart. I have used other ones in the past where I felt like the end was coming off all the time. It was hard to keep together, but this one just snaps right into place and you're good to go. So I'm going to start by taking this and whipping it with a whisk attachment. If your immersion blender does not have a whisk attachment, you can just use the blade and it will be fine. I just like to get it to the whipped cream state, and I think it goes a little faster with the the whisk attachment, and then I'll switch over to the other attachment. Okay, here we go. Let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and submerge it and turn it on. Turn the speed up just a little bit. There we go. There is a turbo button. If I want to use it, I can. And just like that, I have whipped cream. And if you were just looking to make whipped cream, you could stop here. You could add in a little sweetener with a little sugar to make it some sweet whipped cream. But we want to keep going. We want to make it into butter. So at this point, you could switch over to the normal immersion blender. I'm going to keep going with my whisk for just a little bit longer, and then I will switch over to the regular blending attachment. Okay, and now I can see that it is just about to the breaking point where it's going to kind of what we call break and turn into butter. So I am going to switch my attachment at this point. I'll scrape down the sides a little bit as well, just to make sure we get that all in there. Don't necessarily have to do that, but I like to. So I'll scrape the sides down. I'm going to switch out my attachment. Super simple, just there's a button on each side and it pops right off. And then our normal attachment just pops on, and we'll go ahead and start our blending. So here's what we have. We have our liquid buttercream, our solid butter. Okay, I'm just going to pour off the liquid portion and retain the solid chunks. They should stay in the container, but just in case, I'm going to kind of hold them back. Okay, and you can use this for a lot of different things. If you want to make pancakes or for different breads, all sorts of different recipes, you can use the buttercream. So I'm just going to scrape down the sides again. I'm going to churn just a little bit more. So now I'm going to use a bowl, and I would like to put all my butter in the bowl, and then I'm basically going to rinse it off to get any remaining buttercream that might still be left over. Get it off of my butter. Get out of here as much as possible. Okay, so you can see that our butter is pretty solid here. So we're going to go ahead and we just need some water. Okay, so all I'm going to do is just pour a little water over my butter to basically rinse it off. And scrape up the sides there. You can see that the water turns kind of a yellowy color. I can pick my butter right up. Okay, now that our butter has been rinsed, we have some perfectly usable butter. You can go ahead and store it in the refrigerator. I usually store them in a mason jar or some other sealed container. They don't last very long around our house because we do use up our butter quite quickly. We use it for lots of different things. But we are going to go another step and we're going to make some cinnamon butter.